Hey, podcast family. How are you? I hope you're having... If you listen to episode 7, then you understand the introduction to episode 8. So please go and have a listen. But welcome back to Claiming Your Success, Conversations with Caroline and Sabrina. This is episode number 8 of season 1, which, man, the time has just gone by so fast. But we have a fire episode today because we have some kind of objections to answer. Not even objections. I think it's just some BS
yes.
to answer. And I think you're going to get a lot out of this conversation. I think it's going to reveal some things that maybe you haven't thought about in your own journey. And hopefully you're going to get a lot out of it. So is there anything that you want to say before I premise what we're going to talk about, Caroline?
You know, although one thing that came to my head is if you are watching this on the Spotify, you know, and you can leave the comments as you're watching it. If anything comes to your mind, guys, when you're watching this, comment, write it, because then we can address it in the next podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know a lot of you probably do have questions as you're listening. There is a comment box underneath. Start using it.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's brilliant. Because we want this so much to be a conversations with Caroline and Sabrina. That's the point, right? We want it to be like an interaction where we can really address the things that are coming up in real time for people through our own perspective. So with that being said, this dropped into my inbox this week.
Dun, dun, dun.
Somebody sent me a message and they said, what do you mean your personal growth needs to be part of your journey? Surely, if you're executing the business strategy that you set forward, your mindset has nothing to do with it. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And it was and I'm not putting that tone on based on how I read it. That was the tone of the message. Okay? So, Caroline, thoughts?
All right, firstly, let's just say, please no one take offense to anything I might say. This is just, I'm literally me, and I say it as it is. Because the first thing that came to my mind was, is this person a robot? Because, you know, what do you mean you can't have I don't understand what that even means. Like, so what, like, I'm just lost. I'm lost. And it's more also because I've been on both sides of it. I've been on the side where I wasn't doing personal development. I thought I didn't need to do personal development team. Now I'm at a stage where they need to be teaching personal development in schools. This should be something that is literally drilled into us when we're younger. Because it's like, as we grow up, we actually start to restrict our thinking, you know, because when we're like, and it's even that, when you look at kids, right, they're fearless. That they will trip and they'll do something that will make them trip and hurt themselves, then they'll go do it again. But with us, we don't do it again. We stop. But I look back now thinking we actually need to be more like kids because they have no fear. They don't overthink, you know. And if anything, their mind is just, oh, let me just see how that goes. I might just try it. Oh, I fell. All right then. But I might go do it again because maybe I won't fall next time, you know. So for me, I'm so baffled. I am so baffled by that response, Sabrina. I half want to, like I said to you as well, I half want to have, like, maybe have a look at their Instagram, have a talk with them and really see because I'm so confused. Sabrina, what are you, I think I need a minute.
Laughing.
What was your first thought when you even got that message?
My first thought was, I was offended. First of all, I was offended because I was like, this person clearly has never listened to anything that I've ever talked about. They've never read a single caption I've ever shared. They've never interacted with my ecosystem here ever to be able to say something like that. So I was kind of offended of like, how dare you slide into my inbox to tell me what I should be sharing when you've clearly never taken the time to actually look at what I'm sharing, right?
Yeah.
But then the more developed version of myself drops in and is like, okay, look at this with a compassionate eye, right? And so I start to understand that the only way somebody can have this kind of thinking because I once had this kind of thinking, Caroline just shared that she once had this kind of thinking, is that we compartmentalize ourselves, right? We think that Sabrina over here doing and believing what Sabrina over here believes has no impact on Sabrina over here doing and thinking what Sabrina over here is doing and thinking, right? So Sabrina in her personal life, struggling with all the things that she's struggling with her mindset, struggling with her emotions, struggling with her belief, struggling with her habits, has nothing to do with Sabrina over here, who is building a business, showing up as a mentor, showing up as a coach, showing up to lead and guide other people through their journeys, showing up to build income. Like, how can the two things be completely separate?
And it's like, how do you expect to be successful? It's how. Like, honestly, I'm still so baffled. I'm still so baffled. And I'm trying to think how I was prior to doing self-development.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, was how did that show up for you? Like, when you were in a space where you weren't focused on your personal growth, what did that look like?
Excuses, negativity, overthinking, no action, like literally having a negative bubble around me and literally bringing all that negativity to me, attracting more of that, attracting more of what I actually didn't want. I think that's enough, right? It's nearly a handful. That's 6 things I literally just
blaming
named,
and complaining, right?
Right?
Blaming and complaining.
Literally. Yeah. And then what about you?
Same. All the for me, it's always been reflected inwards, right? So I don't think I've ever been a negative person, like reflected out of me, but I've always struggled with negativity directed into me. Yeah. So always treat myself poorly, make everything mean something negative about myself. If somebody coughed or sneezed in my direction, oh my God, it's because I'm such a terrible person and they don't respect my space. Like, just, everything directed inwards about how I'm not good enough, how I can't do it, how I'm not capable, I don't belong here, I don't matter, I'm not enough, all of that directed in. So I think we do have these kinds of two versions of what that destructive kind of nature can be. It can be you're somebody who blames and complains, like pushing all of the reason for your lack of success or lack of growth or lack of whatever out there, like looking to blame somebody else, or you can point it inside, and neither is better than, like, they both suck. They're both terrible, right? Yep. They're both terrible. Yep. So for me, how I used to be was I very much used to be that person that asked that question. Like, if I'm doing all the things to build my business, then why does it matter whether or not I believe in myself or I'm rah-rah cheerleading for myself? Like, it doesn't matter if I'm doing the stuff. And I had that disconnect in my business growth for the first 3 years. First 3 years that I was in business for myself, I had that complete disconnect. Can you guess how my business went for the first 3 years?
Probably not so good.
No.
Have you ever heard network marketing is self-development with a paycheck?
Oh,
have you ever heard
1,000%, yes.
Do you think that's still you think that still is to do, like, still the same with any entrepreneurial journey, any business owner, not just network marketing? And I think it is that for any entrepreneurial process. I think network marketing, not necessarily more so, but it's more obvious because things that you have to do on a daily basis in building a network marketing business, if you're not engaged in personal growth, you're just not going to do them. Right? It's true. Like, you're not going to send the messages if you're making everything mean something negative about yourself. Right? If you're not engaged in personal growth, and so you're making every time somebody ghosts you or doesn't respond to you or says no mean that you suck, you can't do it, you're not good enough, this is never going to work for you, then what you have to go through that every single day.
And so you're never going to stick with it. You're never going to find
No.
success with that model. So I think that's why it's said so much more, like framed around network marketing. But I think it's true for any entrepreneurial process. Like putting yourself out there is hard. Putting yourself out there is vulnerable. You have to be courageous. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have a thick skin. You have all of that. You're not going to do any of the things required of you to build the success that you want unless you're engaged in personal growth.
Right. And then even like that, it's like, you have to believe in, you have the vision, and your vision starts from the belief. So if you don't have that comes through your self-development. So if you don't have no belief in yourself, then you haven't really got a vision. And what business are you building? What? Excuse me? Who's the person's Instagram again?
True. I have this like model that I teach my coaching clients, and real quick, if you don't mind me sharing it.
No, sure.
So if you draw like a box, like on a piece of paper, Caroline, do it. On a piece of paper, draw a square. Nice. Then hold it up to the camera so the people can see. And if you're listening, go and watch it on our YouTube. Okay. Draw a box. Okay. Top left-hand corner.
Do I need a flip chart soon and a whiteboard?
Top right-hand corner. Feel.
I know you lot can't see it, but I'm writing it. Don't worry. Yep.
Bottom right-hand corner. Do.
And then
bottom left-hand corner.
Perfect.
Result.
Okay.
So draw an arrow between think and feel.
Inside the box or outside the box?
Wherever you want to put it.
Wherever.
Yeah. Think to feel, arrow. Feel to do, arrow.
Yep.
Do to result, arrow.
Yep.
Right? So what you think creates certain feelings in you, right? You have a thought. You have a thought. I'm not good enough, right? Is the thought. The feeling that creates is defeat, frustration, sadness, all of those things.
Yep.
When you feel a certain way, you're going to do certain things. So if you feel frustrated, defeated, sad, what are you going to do?
Probably nothing, but then the opposite.
Nothing.
Literally.
Right? Nothing. And so what you do creates the results that you see. So if you're doing nothing, you're not going to see any results. Right? So what you think determines the results that you see. Can you see that in the box?
Yeah.
If you follow the box around, the things that you think determine the results that you see. Because you think something, it makes you feel a certain way. How you feel determines what you do. That creates the results. Here's the kicker. Arrow from results to think.
Yeah.
Because then the results that you see perpetuate the thought.
Yes.
So if you don't see any results, it highlights, see, I'm not good enough, creates the circle, the square. It creates the entire, and then you go round that whole circle, square again. You go round that whole cube again. I call it the consistency cube because it literally is the hack to you being able to create consistent action and consistent results in the direction of your dreams. What most people do is that they focus on the do result part, right? If I just keep doing this thing, then this is the result that I can expect.
Oh, yes, you're so right.
You have to focus on what you're thinking, what you're believing to be true in order for the feelings to change, the actions to change, and so the results to change. And when the results change, it reinforces the original thought or belief.
You know, it's then just come into my head. It's the, anyone in business, exactly the person that sent you that message, all you're doing is a tick box every day. There's no feeling in that process. So you think just going on your social media, doing one post, doing a couple of stories is all you have to do for the day. That's easy. You can teach a kid to do that. So no, that is not going to get you the results you need. And, sorry, that just came into my head from what you were just saying just then. Because, and then in order for you to think differently, you got to work on yourself. Self-development comes in. Oh, Sabrina. Did you reply back?
I may just, when this episode is uploaded, I may just copy the link and send it to them.
That literally first come into my head.
I may just do that.
But then also as well, it's just like also paying attention to where you put your energy and if it's like if answering is even going to help.
Mm-hmm.
If they're even just, I find what I used to do as well is that when someone did shoot something quite negative or offensive at me, first it would get me upset where I wasn't working on the mindset. I'd get upset, all in my feelings. I'd either reach out to Sabrina or someone else who was on the team, and I would look for that support, right, safety net for them to uplift me again. And then working on the self development, I then thought, okay, let me try and throw back positivity at them, right, and tried to see if I could, help. What I then found that I was wasting energy trying to persuade someone to think differently when all they were doing was firing back negativity at the same time. So in my head, it was like, it's pointless because you're actually draining me in this conversation. And then it was something I read a few years ago, and it was, I can't remember it word for word, but it was like some people require sometimes you have to give the full answer, sometimes you give a little, sometimes you give nothing, because then, do you know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, seeing if even that person's never engaged in your content, they don't even know what you're doing, and they just want to fire that.
Mm-hmm. I
And
think
then
the
someone,
tone, for me, the tone of the message
yeah,
told, like, it felt as if a response was not necessary
it's not
because it
necessary, and
just
it's that,
wasn't going to be received in the way that it
there's
was intended.
exactly,
I had somebody like a while ago, this happened a long while ago, but still it hits me because I
mm,
wrote a caption, and it was about, like, the video, it was a reel, and it was sharing my journey from that version of myself that was bad habits, self-destruction, everything pointed inwards as I'm not good enough, all of that, to where it is that I am now, not only in my business success, but the version of myself that I am now. So it was a reel that kind of showed through pictures and videos and all of that stuff, that process. And in the caption, I'd written like what that process had looked like to take me from where I was to where I am. The first line of the caption was, I guess brown girls can't be successful, right?
mm-hmm,
That was the first line. And then the next line said, that's the thing that I always used to say to myself because that's what I used to believe. And then it carried on, long story about how that is not actually true, right? The comment that someone wrote was, you'll never be successful if that's your mindset. If you think that brown people can't be successful, then of course you're never going to be successful. That kind of thinking isn't going to serve you in the long run. Like, you didn't, before writing something so negative and finger pointery, you didn't even
oh,
take the time to
read,
read what I'd written. So when it comes to things like that, I cannot feed it with any energy because
yeah,
it's just pure, what's the word? Ignorance.
it is.
It's
And
ignorance.
it's just exactly that. You can tell. You can always tell. I've just writ down. People's answers say everything.
Mm.
Sometimes, and even that's something my dad always says is sometimes just keep quiet, Caroline, and let other people do the talking because whatever they're saying, it could answer so many questions without you even open your mouth. And exactly that. You shouldn't even read my caption.
Mm.
So I don't even need to even like what you just said because you made yourself look silly. Sorry, but you did. You know. Oh.
Isn't it funny though how, like, I think that's one of the reasons why people have such a bad taste in their mouth about social media is because when you do share yourself, you do put yourself in the way of being criticized or people just not
Yeah.
understanding or not getting it or whatever. And so many people are hesitant to put themselves in that position. But you have to have a level of conviction in what it is that you're here to do, to the
Yeah.
point where you're willing to kind of take people's BS, and take it in a way, as you just said perfectly, Caroline, of people's responses will tell you everything that you need to know about them, and
Right.
understand that it's not about you. It's about where
Mm-mm.
they are in their journey.
Mm-hmm. Hurt people. Hurt people. That it's always coming from a place.
But then
If anyone's,
healed people heal people.
yeah. Oh, I like that one. I'm gonna write that one down because I've not heard that one. And then,
Healed
but like,
people heal people.
oh, just love it. That's probably what again frustrates me because there's so much negativity on social media, right? And then there's so many people that have some amazing stories of where they've how they've just gotten themselves through like the most challenging struggles of their life. And when I hear it, I'm just like, I wish you was confident enough to share that, because don't look at what people might think. I literally, every time someone tells me something powerful, empowering, and I'm like, why are you not sharing this? I'm like, be the light for those that need you. Always look at how Sabrina was back when she was younger. Be that voice that you needed, who you didn't have. And that's all I do now. That's all I focus on. You know, I try to be the person that I needed when I was younger. I didn't know what was out there for us. So many of us don't know, you know, and just to know that majority of this has changed, and all the opportunities I've created is because of my mindset. This is why I say they need to teach it in school, because we all could be so powerful if we literally just switched our belief, which you need to do through personal development. You have to. There's no other way. There's no other way.
I wish, oh my God, that's 1000% going to be the title of this podcast, is that they need to teach this in schools. Because I know for me, coming from the childhood that I came from, the environment that I came from, all of that, if I was given these tools and even the understanding of this is available to you to work through some of your stuff, and your life doesn't actually have to look like this forever. Yeah. This isn't your lot. This isn't just how it's going to be. If I was even given an inkling of that possibility, it wouldn't I honestly don't care how long it's taken, because I am where I am now, and I just sit in the gratitude of that.
Yeah.
At 42 years old, I'm this version of me who's going to live the second half of my life healthier, stronger, more empowered than I did the first half of my life. That's where I am. So I don't care how long it took. But can you imagine if the learnings that I've had over the last 4 years were available to me, to my knowledge, when I was 15?
Sabrina, my life would look so different. Because
so different. I think so many girls' lives would look different. A lot of women's future would look very different if we had the tools to build our sense of self-worth, regardless of other people's treatment of us at that such a young age.
Something to share, you know. And now thinking me and you have been on similar journeys, especially with women and relationships, and when it's come to that, because I don't know if I've shared this with you, Sabrina, and I know this is why I go so hard in what I do now, because I used to play tennis. From a young age, my dad got me into tennis. I had a tennis coach. I was part of a club. I want to say it might have been 11, 12, was playing tournaments. And then when I got into my 20s, I was still doing it, right? If anything, I had a coach, and then I was playing on the day during the week with my coach 1-to-1. Then I was playing on the weekends, on a Saturday with a tennis club. Then I was doing tournaments. Sabrina, I was the youngest girl there. All of them, so I was in my early 20s. All the women above was in the early 30s. Majority of them were not my skin color, right? And then what happened is that I wasn't actually put to play with the women because of how capable, how good I was, whatever. I actually had to play with men, you know, so they wouldn't put me with the women. It was like, I didn't even understand why at first. They would be like, Caroline, you used to go play over there. And I'd be like, oh, okay, sweet. You know, I'll just go and do it. And even that, because I was the youngest one, I was just doing what I was told. Didn't realize why. And then actually the women used to make comments, used to make me feel uncomfortable. It wasn't nice. And obviously being the youngest one, what happened? And because my mindset was not there, I let them push me out. I let something go that, this is where I tell a lot of people I could have been in Wimbledon, because people don't understand I could have been in Wimbledon, but because of my mindset in my 20s, I didn't stick at it. I didn't push through. I found it hard, and then I walked away from it because of what other people were saying and what they were doing and how they were making me feel, and because I didn't think I could do it, or I didn't have enough belief in me, in confidence to stand there and continue showing up for myself in something I loved. Can you imagine? So someone wants to say you don't need personal development and whatever. You're lucky I can't swear on this podcast. No, you need it.
You need it. We all need it, you know, because that story, Caroline, like, it makes me so sad in my heart for you, because Not that I think, the Caroline that exists now is wonderful. She's wonderful. But to think what a different, like you could literally have had a different life.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. When I say what's at stake for you, to get over the things that you need to get over, to heal from the things that are holding you back, to work on whatever it is, what is at stake for you? Because it's not like we can literally have a different existence based off of one choice. One decision that we make can have the knock-on effect of a completely different life. Like you having that experience of, if Caroline had been working on her personal growth, if Caroline knew that these tools and all of that stuff existed and she was doing all of that, so she didn't give up, she didn't let herself be pushed out, what your future could look like, where you could be now, right? And even like, I think about it just from a, not silly, because it's been incredibly life-changing for me, but thinking about it from my relationship with my husband. We've been together 25 years. We've been married for 15 years, together for 25 years. We met when we were 17 years old. We met because we went to the same college, right?
Yeah.
For you guys in the States, college is, for us in the UK, is between graduating high school and going to university. Whereas you guys graduate high school and you go straight to university, we have 2 years in between that are called college, right? So we were 17 years old. Gio had no business going to the college that I went to. No business. Because I lived in Surrey, which is outskirts of London. He lived in northwest London, right? So the college that he went to was in the next town that I lived in, right? So he would drive over an hour every single day to go to college and drive over an hour every single day to go home, simply because this college was there were two colleges in his kind of reasonably commutable distance that offered aeronautical engineering, which is what he wanted to do, as a course. And it was his auntie that told him about the college that I was at. His auntie told him about the college, and he was like, oh, it's a bit far, but okay, I'll look into it. He didn't really look into it. And then one day he decided to look into it. And that was the college that he ended up going to. We met in the middle of our student union. 25 years later, here we are, still a couple. And I often think, because I owe so much to this man, this love of my life, for the woman and the version of myself that I am, I owe so much to him and our relationship. If he had decided, that hour is too far, it's too far, and he hadn't gone, we never would have met. And I cannot even fathom what my life would look like today. I can't fathom it.
Something I always
One
say
decision.
is the longer the journey, the better the destination. Yes. And look at that.
One decision.
It's worth it.
Completely different future.
Because imagine.
And so, can you imagine?
I know, right? Imagine. There be no Gio? No! Gio over here.
We do love Gio over here. It's so funny because everyone on my social media loves my husband, because he is like, he never shows up on purpose on my social media. So anytime that he's in the background, or he comes into the room and does something awkward, or he says something, I always share it, and everyone's obsessed with him. Obsessed. And it's ridiculous, because I'm like, I'm the one that shows my face here every day. I'm the one that is whatever. And it's Gio that everyone wants to see and spend time with.
Gio.
Anyway,
sorry.
So true, isn't it? Like, those two examples from the two of us about our lives just makes it so clear that one decision can drastically alter the direction of your life. And so if you're not doing things because of how you believe your life is, or what you believe to be possible for you, or what you believe to be true about yourself, you're making decisions every day that are dictating the direction of your future. If you were in a different belief system, you would make decisions every day that would dictate the direction of your future, right? two completely different paths.
Yeah.
So if you're not happy with the way that things are, you have the power to change it. And personal growth is the power.
It is the power. Literally.
I'm gonna copy the link, send it to that person as my response.
And I bet you what they're going to do. The bare minimum.
They won't even listen.
Nope.
Which is fine.
Listen. And
Which is fine.
It's fine. We're such a shame. They can continue doing the bare minimum, and it won't. Sorry to say, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't get you anywhere.
And then you have the audacity to say it doesn't work.
It doesn't. That.
And on that note, let's move it along.
Yes.
Such a good combo. Such a good combo. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Sabrina.
So good. All right, fam. I hope you enjoyed this. I know. Season 1 is almost at a close, but we've got some good stuff on the horizon for you.
I can't wait.
Leave comments, ask questions, anything that you want answers to or guidance on. We will do our best to give you that. If you want to leave us a review, we would love that too.
Please do.
And share this. Share any snippet that really stuck out to you. Share it on your social media. Share it with people that you love. Tag us in it. We just love to know that what we're sharing is making a difference for you.
Yeah. On that note, over and out.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.